Hey friends, welcome back to Acre Homestead. My name is Becky, and today in my kitchen we are going to be baking up a storm. It is Valentine's Day right around the corner, and you know the way that I show love to my friends and family is through my kitchen. So what better way to do that than to bake up a bunch of Valentine's Day cookies and candies and share the love. Today in this video we are going to be baking up 3 brand new cookie recipes to me. I've never made these before. And so when I was going through these recipes, I decided, you know what, let's just add a 4th one that I know is going to turn out. Just in case one of these 3 don't, then we'll have at least one that is tried and true, as long as I don't burn it, which you know I've been known to do. So the first recipe we're going to do is a chocolate marshmallow cutout cookie recipe, and this is a taste of home recipe, so I'm going to link these recipes down below because these 3 are not my recipes. The next one we're going to do is a German hazelnut macaroon. I've never made macaroons before, so what better time to do it than for Valentine's Day? And is a sweetheart coconut cookie. It's kind of like a shortbread cookie with raspberry filling and coconut. And then the last cookie we're going to make up is a coconut macaroon that is super easy to whip together and very difficult to mess up. And so I figured we better have one, that's a little bit insurance. Valentine's Day is sometimes accused of being a Hallmark holiday and is poo-pooed as being a serious holiday. I want to demystify that myth for you. I think Valentine's Day is a fantastic holiday. I think it's a great way or a great excuse just to share a little bit of extra love with the loved ones in your life. Friends, family, coworkers, whoever that is. And if I don't demystify it, no worries. I hope you just enjoy coming along for the ride with me as we make up these 4 cookies. What we're going to do after we make up all these cookies and candies, we're going to package them up and we are going to drop off love bombs to people's doorsteps. And I think that's going to be so fun. So we're going to do that all together, but first we have to make these cookies and then we'll make candies in a different video. They're called chocolate marshmallow cutouts, but when I was reading about this recipe, they're basically like a brownie cookie filled with marshmallow. So we're going to start with these because it said when I was reading the reviews, you have to chill this down for at least 2 hours. So that's why we're going to start with this recipe. So I put 1 1/4 cups of butter in here, and now I put 2 cups of white sugar. It says to beat the butter and sugar together for 5 to 7 minutes. So that's quite some time. I just got a new paddle for my KitchenAid in my P.O. box, and I'm pretty excited to try it out for the first time. While the butter and sugar are creaming together, I'm mixing together the flour, cocoa powder, baking soda, salt, and baking powder together. At this moment, I decided that I'm going to double this recipe. That was an interesting choice. I kept telling myself, I'm not going to double any recipes, I'm not going to double any recipes, and then I decided to double this one. You all know me, can't help myself. I had a panic moment there, and I did just double this recipe, even though this recipe had mixed reviews online. So I may regret that decision, but I think that these are probably going to be the #1 hit if these turn out well, because who doesn't love a good brownie cookie? So, oh, I'm supposed to add this in a little bit at a time. This will work. This will work. I'm saying that so that it does work. Okay. This is all that you have to do for the dough right here. It's a pretty simple dough to put together. The dough is not as dark as I would have expected because it looks darker in the photo. My KitchenAid doesn't like the sound of that. This is a very stiff dough. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way. It just says cover and refrigerate for an hour. I think I'm going to put this in a little bit of saran wrap and try to shape it into a ball so that it'll be easier to roll out when we get to that point. As I'm working with this dough, trying to get it into a ball to put in the refrigerator, I'm questioning all my life choices. This dough is so crumbly, it's so dry, I end up kneading it like a bread dough, knowing that that's probably not what you're supposed to do with cookie dough, but I am just trying to get this to work. And so I finally get it shaped well enough, but as I'm pressing it, I'm just thinking, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. Because it's so dry and crumbly. And I finally get it wrapped up in saran wrap to go in the refrigerator, and then I do the same thing with the other one where I put some saran wrap out, I knead this dough, and I'm trying to convince myself that I haven't just made a grave mistake doubling this recipe. All right, I'm really worried about this dough because it seems super dry, and I hope that it does magic in the refrigerator. So we have our 2 squares. These have to refrigerate, it says, for at least 1 hour. And now we're gonna make the coconut raspberry cookies. You forgot to mention to me that we forgot the eggs. There's supposed to be 4 eggs in this cookie dough, and there is 0 eggs right now in that cookie dough, and I am so relieved because I was just thinking, oh my gosh, those reviews on this recipe were right, because it's super, super dry, and I was thinking there's no way I'm gonna be able to get this cookie, I'm gonna be able to roll this cookie dough out. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're not off to the best start, but I am grateful that I realized this before we got any farther. We're gonna go ahead and put this cookie dough back in our bowl. I was kneading it, I was doing all sorts of funny things trying to get this cookie dough to work, and then just realized, forgot the eggs. Okay, I got them out, I just forgot to put them in the cookie dough. I also forgot the vanilla. Now this dough seems a little bit soft, but I guess that makes sense why it says just cover and put in the refrigerator and not put it in saran wrap. But I'm still gonna try to put it in saran wrap. I'm gonna clean my mess up, and then we're gonna move on to the Sweetheart Raspberry Coconut Cookies. And I just reread that recipe, and I need to get the food processor out. And we don't even need the stand mixer for that, but we'll need it in just a minute. In the food processor, I have butter and flour to start making the coconut cutout cookies. It says to cut it into the butter until crumbly, so there are some little crumbly bits of butter in here. So we're gonna put that in our bowl. Now we're gonna add 1 cup of sweetened coconut. That's probably too much. To the food processor. And 1 cup of sugar. And we're gonna mix that together. And it says you want the coconut coarsely chopped. So I've never done anything like this before. I think we're gonna go with that. This is gonna go in our bowl, and we're supposed to add 2 eggs. It does not say to add salt, but I'm gonna add salt. And those are all the ingredients. That just doesn't seem like enough moisture to me, but we'll find out. I think it's gonna work. We just have to get in there with our hands. This probably was one of the easiest yet most unique cookie doughs I've ever put together. I hope this works. It smells incredible. It smells so, so good. It doesn't say to chill it, but I'm going to because it said to use cold butter and I was using room temperature butter. We have 2 of our doughs done, and I'm a little bit apprehensive about how those doughs are going to turn out. So we're going to make the coconut macaroons because these are so easy, hard to mess up. So it's going to be good to have something that is going to give us a little bit of confidence under our belt so we can keep going. These really could not be any easier. Whoop, making a mess. You need 5.5 cups of coconut. Normally you would use shredded, but I have this kind of like flake stuff, so we're going to use this up. Now you just add 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. Salt. Sweetened condensed milk is just milk and sugar. I try to make sure I find one that just has those 2 ingredients in it. So we don't have to add any sugar to this or eggs because this is going to stick everything together. And we're going to add some vanilla. I always double my vanilla. And all we have to do is mix that together. And that's the cookie dough. I'm adding 1 egg white to this. This is not in the recipe. But because I'm using flaked coconut, usually I would use shredded. It doesn't want to stick together quite as much as it normally does. So I think just that 1 egg white, when it bakes, will help keep everything together. We're going to use our large cookie sheets we got for Christmas, the Christmas cookie day, and our cookie scoop, which have been a game changer for me. So I'm going to link both of these down below. And I want to pack this coconut mixture into that cookie scoop quite a bit, so it's nice and tight in there. And then we're going to push it out, and we got our cookie. I have the oven preheated to 315 degrees and we're going to bake those for about 12 minutes. Now what we're going to do is we are going to get going on the hazelnut macaroons. It's funny, we're making coconut macaroons and we're making a traditional macaroon, which I've never made an egg macaroon, like an egg white macaroon before. These don't have a frosting and it looks like it's super simple to throw together, but we are going to need the food processor one more time because we have to make hazelnut flour. So we're going to pulse that in a food processor. So we need 1.5 cups of hazelnut flour. I've never used hazelnut flour before. Now the recipe doesn't say if the hazelnuts need like the paper taken off of them. So I'm not going to take it off. I just ate a hazelnut just to make sure that it wasn't bitter or anything. And when I looked at the picture online, it looked like there were little flakes of brown. So I'm assuming those are supposed to be in there. Flour, I don't want to make butter. I think I'm going to let it go just a little bit longer. Yeah, it's probably good. If you let it go too long, you'll turn it into hazelnut butter because the fat will start to emulsify. Now we need to put 4 egg whites, room temperature egg whites, in our mixing bowl. So I'm going to save the yolks and do something with them. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and the hazelnut is one of Oregon's, I think it's Oregon's state nut. We grow a lot of hazelnuts in Oregon. You cannot get any part of the egg yolk into this egg white mixture or it will not form a stiff peak. You can't have any fat in a meringue. That's basically what we're making, is a meringue. All right, let me wash my hands and I'll show you what to do next. We're going to turn this on high and beat until stiff peaks form. That's about a stiff peak right there. Let me show you. When you take the mixture and pull up, do you see how the peak sticks straight up? There we go. I've never made meringue before, but I've seen this on TV, which is basically as good as doing it, right? We have our sugar, cinnamon, and salt in here. And now we're going to slowly pour this in here, it says. And mix for about 30 seconds. And that's it. But before we can mix that in, our macaroons are done. I wish you could smell this. This smells so phenomenal. One of the easiest cookies to make. We might decorate them with chocolate, we might not. They'll harden up as they cool. We're gonna fold this flour in by taking a spatula and running it along the bottom and folding it on top. You don't want to stir this in because then you'll deflate all those egg whites. You worked hard to get all that air into them. Now, I've never made macaroons before, the kinds with the frosting in them, and I think those are made with almond flour, so I wonder if you could make macaroons with any kind of nut you wanted. Pecan macaroons, walnut macaroons, I don't know. I just saw this recipe on Pinterest and I thought it looked fancy for Valentine's Day. I lowered the temperature on the oven to 300 degrees. These macaroons are not piped. We're supposed to use 2 spoons to put them onto our cookie sheet. And the recipe says spoon dough, it's kind of funny you're calling this a dough, onto cookie sheet. Optional, add 1 hazelnut to the top of each cookie for decoration, which we're gonna do because we're gifting these, and so it's good for people to know what's inside what they're eating. How many is this supposed to make? Doesn't say. I hope these are good because these were super easy to put together. When I look at the picture, it looks like they're kind of elongated just a little bit. Spoiler alert, these were phenomenal. I've already had 4 people ask me for this recipe, and they honestly could not be any easier, and they look super fancy, super impressive. And this was probably, well, the coconut macaroon was probably the easiest one to put together, but this was the second easiest one. I almost forgot to put the hazelnuts on the macaroons. So I just pulled them out real quick, and we're gonna get those on, and then we're gonna get them back in the oven. Ah! Gotta work quick because they were already in the oven. They're so cute. And these are raw hazelnuts, and so they'll toast when they're in the oven baking. I don't know if you noticed my heart-shaped earrings. My friend who I graduated hygiene school with started a clay earring business, or I should say she started a clay earring hobby during 2020 when we were all shut down, all dental offices were closed. And she quickly turned that hobby into her full-time business, and I'm so incredibly proud of her. And I wanted to make sure I had her Valentine's Day earrings for this Valentine's Day video. Her company is Row Clay Co. I'm going to link her down in the description box so you can go check her out. She is amazing. Now that I have the macaroons in the oven, we have the macaroons out of the oven. I think the ones in the oven with the egg whites are pronounced macaron, because it's French, and these are macaroons. Please correct me. Could be saying both wrong. So now that we have those cookies basically done, we have our cookie dough chilling. It's not quite chilled enough to roll out. So what I'm gonna do now is I have 2 candy recipes that I need to make that need to chill. So I'm gonna make those candy recipes. That's gonna be in a different video coming out right after this video. And I kind of have this like lull moment, so I don't want to waste this time. So I'm going to make those candies, get them chilling. While those are chilling, I'm going to roll out and bake the cookies, and then I can finish those candies. It'll be just a second for you, but I want to let you know that that's what I'm going to be doing while I kind of have this little bit of downtime. I took a second to clean up between finishing the candies and starting the cookies back up. All right, friends, we are back to keep working on the cookies. We got a ton of the candies done, so I hope you enjoyed that video when that comes out. The next thing we need to do is this cookie dough rolled out. It's nice and firm. I think we're gonna do this one first because we can get it started and finished quicker because we have more of these and it'll feel good to have something done. We have a couple different cookie cutters here. These are nesting cookie cutters. I can link these down below. These are the ones I used for the Oreo cookies and they worked perfect. And then I just got the same ones in hearts though. For the chocolate ones, we're gonna do a round cookie. Let's see, what size? With a heart cut out in the middle. I think we'll do this size. For the coconut raspberry one, we're gonna do heart and heart. I think that looks good. We're gonna use our rolling pin again that we got for the Oreos. I love this thing. I'm gonna link this down below as well. This recipe says to do it at 1/8 of an inch, which is perfect. That's what I have my measured guide on. It did say to use a floured surface, so I need to get a little bit of flour out. This dough is cracking a little bit on the corners or on the edges, which makes me a little bit worried, but I think it's going to be okay. I took the small heart cookie cutter and I cut out a heart on half of the heart cookies. That's going to be the window, so we'll be able to see the jam on the bottom cookie. The recipe said 7 to 9 minutes, but this took 12. I don't know if that's my oven or what. Probably my oven. So now we're going to put the solid hearts in. Now that we have the heart cookies in the oven, we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing with our chocolate cookie dough. My love of Valentine's Day stems from my parents. They always made Valentine's Day a really special day growing up. You know, my dad would get us flowers or a balloon or candy or something, or my mom, I don't know, it was probably my mom who was doing it, but it never was a romantic love type thing. It was just a way to show people that you love a little bit of extra love. And I do tell my husband not to buy me roses or expensive flowers on Valentine's Day because I do think that it is kind of crazy, the markup at Valentine's Day. But he usually cooks me dinner, and that to me is the most special thing because I do 99.9% of the cooking around here. And on Valentine's Day, he does the cooking. And so it's just a way he shows love to me by doing something he doesn't normally do. So I was not expecting these brownie ones to puff up so much. So they are touching a little bit, but that's okay. They're hot. I don't think they're quite done. I'm going to put them back in. So some of these got a little squished together, but oh well. They'll still taste good, I think. You would think I learned my lesson by now. I should only bake 1 tray of cookies at a time, because I burnt these. I had these in with the brownie cookies. That is why I always have to make extra, because I'm always going to burn a few or mess up on a couple, and we just have to build in that margin. At first, I was taking the little hearts and mixing them back into the dough, but I have so much chocolate cookie doughs that I decided to go ahead and bake those up, and that's probably one of my favorite things that we made today. I love this cookie dough in these little hearts. They're really, really just snackable and super fun. They kind of remind me of like a chocolate Teddy Graham. These cookies were my husband's favorite. Spoiler alert, I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. He loved them. At the end of the video, I'm going to talk about how they taste like chocolate graham crackers to me. And he said the same thing. He didn't even know that I had recorded that in the video. And when you put the marshmallow in it, it's almost like a homemade s'more. Now think about if you toasted that marshmallow with a blowtorch and then sandwiched it together. I might have to try that sometime. So it's pretty late. It's about 9 o'clock now, and I am going to clean up the kitchen a little bit so that I can get ready to go to bed so we can start this back up in the morning. I have the last batch of chocolate cookies in the oven right now. Josh was so gracious and he did all the main big dishes for me. I have the dishwasher going and then there is still a pile of dishes in the sink. So in the morning, I will unload the dishwasher and get those dishes in the sink. This is where we're at. We've got our cookies done. So tomorrow morning, we are gonna fill the cookies. These are gonna have a sugar top and a raspberry filling. These are gonna have the marshmallow filling. These are completely done. Now I tried one of these macaroons or macarons, I don't know how to say it, the hazelnut ones, and they're chewy and delicious. I have never been a fan of the sandwich kind with the frosting in the middle, probably because I'm not a huge fan of frosting, but these are fantastic. I will definitely make those hazelnut macaroons again because they were, one, extremely easy, and two, they're chewy, they're good, they're phenomenal. I would definitely, and they're so fancy looking. And then the coconut macaroons are done, and we just have this one more thing to do. So I will see you guys in the morning to frost the cookies, and I'm excited about that. Cheers, guys. Good morning, friends. We're back in the kitchen this morning to finish off the cookies. I have some raspberry jam here. I did not make any of my own raspberry jam this year. I want to get the seeds out of it, and it's really easy to get the seeds out of it. So all we're gonna do is heat it up. I should turn the stove on. And I'll show you how to get the seeds out of a jam. And I'm gonna thicken this jam up a little bit too by cooking it. While our raspberry sauce is melting and cooking a little bit, I'm gonna open up our marshmallow fluff. I probably could have made this from scratch, but I figured I was doing enough. So we're just going with the store-bought stuff. I've never bought this before. I'm going to reuse my parchment paper, and we're going to put our stuffed cookies onto the parchment paper that we cooked the cookies on last night. We're going to go ahead and make the glaze for the cookies and dip them in sugar. So I have 3/4 of powdered sugar in here, tablespoon of water, a little bit of vanilla, and we're going to make a glaze. And then here on this plate, we're going to add some turbinado sugar. Can you see how liquidy our jam is now? We wanted to melt that so we can strain the seeds out really easily. We're working on getting all the components of our cookies put together so we can assemble really quickly. It smells so good. Definitely reminds me that I need to make raspberry jam this year. I have raspberry plants out in my garden, but not enough to make jam, so I'll have to buy them. But I can buy them at the farmer's market, no problem around here. We basically just turn this jam into jelly. Jam has seeds in it, jelly doesn't. This is gonna go in the fridge to thicken up so we have a thick jam to put over, or jelly to put over our cookies. Now we're gonna take the top of our coconut cookies, the ones with the heart in it, we're gonna dip it just very lightly. I think I'm gonna even scrape off the excess. I think I'm only gonna do a couple like this, because I think they're going to taste better without all this extra sugar on it, even though it's pretty. So we'll do a little bit of each, and then I'll let you know which ones I like the best. I want to show you one thing about these cookies. When I put them straight into the oven right out of the refrigerator, this is how they looked, really nice and uniform, very even. The ones that I put in that were still warm, they kind of got a little bit wonky, they spread, the edges aren't nice and crisp. So that's definitely an important step with these cookies to make sure they're as cold as possible before they go in the refrigerator. See how nice that looks? That's perfect.
With these cookies, you take the marshmallow fluff and you put it on the solid cookie. On that is going to be your base. And then you take one of the cookies with the heart cut out and you put that on top. I definitely learned that you do not want to overstuff these cookies. The marshmallow fluff will relax and start to ooze out. And so just put enough on there to cover the base, and that's about it.
2 7-ounce jars filled this many cookies. I still have this many cookies that I didn't have enough marshmallow fluff to fill. So it takes twice as much marshmallow fluff to fill these cookies than the recipe says. It's already solid. It was only in the refrigerator for maybe 10 minutes, so it's perfect to get our cookies nice and stuffed now. I wish you could smell these cookies. They smell so good.
These heart-shaped cookies, you do the same process as the chocolate cookies basically. You take a solid heart, you fill it with raspberry jam, and then you top it with one of the cookies that has the heart cut out. I really enjoy doing repetitive tasks like this where you can just kind of get into a groove. It's almost like a meditative state and just keep on keeping on. I love it.
Putting the sandwich cookies together was surprisingly easy. I have never done a sandwich cookie before. Conceptually, it seems fussy to me, but it was really fun, and I think the product turned out beautiful. I'm so happy with these goodies that we made today together. I think we did a fantastic job. We learned a lot along the way. So the ones with the sugar, I will say, they do look really pretty. I like the ones without the sugar as well, but they do look a little bit more finished with the sugar. But I'm okay that I decided not to do the sugar. And there is our tray. I'm excited. I'm going to give these a taste test because I have one left. Just from the ways these ones smell, I think I would definitely make these again. They smell so good. I've never made a cookie like this before. So I sandwiched it together so that it would be more like what the cookie is going to be like for my friends and family that are going to try them. All right, this is so good. Now you're gonna have to like coconut to like this because you can definitely taste the coconut because there's coconut in it. It's basically a shortbread cookie, and shortbread cookies are probably my #1 favorite cookie. With the coconut in it and the raspberry adds just a level of like brightness to it. I definitely need to make raspberry jam this year. I don't know why I didn't make it last year. Okay, that is incredible. You know what? I'm gonna say that I am glad I did not put the sugar on all of the tops because it's pretty sweet. And I think even though the ones that do have the sugar, it is really pretty and it makes it look really finished, I think they just would be way too sweet if they all had that sugar coating on it. But you make them the way you want to make them. Every time I do one of these baking days, there's definitely skills and tips and tricks that I learn as I do this. I'm excited with the recipes we chose. I think I was saying the chocolate ones were like a brownie texture because I read that in one of the comments or in the description, I can't remember. And they're definitely not. They are more crunchy and almost like the Oreo cookie dough that I made, if you watch that Oreo cookie video. They taste to me almost like a chocolate graham cracker. I'm not a huge marshmallow fan, so I'm perfectly happy that we have a bunch of these cookies without marshmallows on them. My husband really enjoyed these. He probably had 2 or 3 of them last night. The cookie that inspired this whole day, I saw this on Pinterest and I had to try it, and I thought we should do Valentine's Day cooking together. This is a winner. I'm gonna make this for sure multiple times. Love it. I know what the coconut macaroons are, so I'm not gonna taste those, but I love coconut macaroons. I feel like people either love or hate coconut macaroons. I'm on the love side. I was thinking about chocolate covering them because sometimes I do that, but I am in the middle of making a bunch of candies too, and so a lot of those candies have chocolate on them, so I think these are going to be good just plain the way they are. If you're interested to see how I'm going to package these up to love bomb my family and friends, consider subscribing if you're new, because right now I'm going to finish up the candies, and in that video we are going to package everything up and we're going to drop them off to friends, families, and some coworkers. So I think that's going to be super fun. Don't forget, I am going to leave these recipes down in the description box, so if you want to try to make any of these recipes along with those heart-shaped cookie cutters, I'll leave those down there for you so you can enjoy those. I want to say happy Valentine's Day. To me, Valentine's Day is a day just to show friends and family how much we love and appreciate them. Whatever way you like to show love to your loved ones, I just hope that this inspired you just to share a little bit of love on this Valentine's Day. To me, it doesn't have to be going to the store and buying expensive roses or buying expensive candy or anything like that. It can be something simple, homemade. It could be kind words. It could be a little note. Whatever it is that you show love, the way I show love to my friends and family is through my kitchen. And you guys know that if you've been around here for any length of time. It doesn't have to look like what Valentine's Day looks like. It's just a way to shower our friends and family with a little bit of extra love. If I'm the only one to tell you this, I hope you have a fantastic Valentine's Day. You are special, you are loved, you are worthy, and you mean the world to me. I hope you guys have a fantastic Valentine's Day, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Bye, guys.